Welcome to Pigeon River Farm, doing farming right. I'm Robert Brown, the owner of Pigeon River Farm. Thank you for viewing. Well, good evening. In tonight's episode, we're going to talk about springtime in Wisconsin. Something that I've observed here, a little change of pace. We've had the most mild winter that I've ever seen. It looks like in the history books we have to go back to the 1800s to see when that was comparable. Literally had no hard freeze-ups. According to my records, we only had approximately 10 days what I would classify as harsh winter throughout the whole duration. So we never really set in any frost into the ground. The freeze-up was minor at best. Being on the town board and handling the weight limits, we never ended up putting weight limits on this spring. First time that anybody can remember that occurring. So a lot of strange phenomena are happening here. Since we never had a hard freeze-up, we are having weather that's probably more reminiscent of living down in Missouri, Arkansas, that area, where you don't get the deep penetrating freeze-ups. So a lot of things are going to be different. We're not sure how different they're going to be. This is going to be the learning curve. One thing that I can tell you right now, having these pastures that my cattle are on for over 20 years in this configuration, I am surprised. I've never seen the grass come on this early, this fast. Now that's a wonderful thing, I'm not complaining, but never seen it come on this early, this fast. We're middle of April and I literally have the beginning of May growth cycle. Looks like about a solid 3 weeks ahead. And remember, that's based on an average. Very seldom it's early. We always can say we have the late ones, but not very often early. So that first week of May is when usually the pastures really start to take a go at it. I haven't even gone out and no-tilled in my seeding that I normally do. I update the pastures on a regular basis. So I'm kind of even concerned about the competition, what's going to unfold. It's real hard to get of a no-till drill right now. I get from the county because everybody can get out in their fields. So I'm waiting. I'm on a waiting list. What I'm interested in find out is how the robustness, since the plants here are based on a certain cycle, is a couple weeks earlier going to have any kind of lasting impact. I don't even want to speculate what could be happening. We have a very light, like I said, we had very little frost into the ground. So that is going to have an impact. The one thing I can probably predict is we're going to have insects we don't care about are going to be there in number. That I can almost guarantee. They didn't get killed off. So expect a tough year from that perspective. The cattle are wintered over extremely well. They didn't have any of the pressure. Interesting, my projections for hay is usually pretty accurate unless we have an extreme cold. I never anticipated an extreme warm. So my overall hay consumption, based on what my estimates were for a normal year, are off by about 25%. I have that many bales wintered over that will probably be used next year. But I find it kind of interesting. So from a budgetary standpoint, this mild winter was a real blessing. But we don't know what kind of ramifications. The downside is we're going into a spring that's incredibly dry. We have some surface moisture right now. We've had a couple rains and snows at the last minute here. But everybody I've talked to that's been doing deep digging, where they've gone in and dug for tile, they've dug this early, they've dug for foundations of them. Like they're down to 8 to 12 feet and there's virtually no moisture. So there's a lot of real estate to be filled up. So that's one of the challenges we're all concerned with. But springs are funny. Rains can come on quick and we could be on the other side of it. We came off of 2018, 19, and 20 were most amazing wet years where some ground couldn't even be hardly used even for pasture. So these are the extremes that us farmers and ranchers must deal with. This is how your food supply, it's at the mercy. It's kind of always have to laugh. The consumer has no idea of the forces that are being dictated back and forth on the availability of the food that they're looking for. We mainly look at it from a, we're real time, we see it here, we know what is going to happen as it unfolds. From a consumer standpoint, they see inflation. Now, inflation is multifaceted because we have geopolitical things that are going on there are dictating an awful lot. But from a pure farming standpoint, it is a world market, so if we have bad years, other people have good and vice versa. We're not sure how long that model is going to stay in place. But nonetheless, it's kind of interesting how when your hands are into earth, you really have an appreciation of the dynamics, and everything is projections. You're thinking, okay, what if? So our whole model with farming is always based on a what if. Try to put up as much contingency plans as possible. Put away more hay than you think you're going to need, because if you have a severe winter, now maybe I'm going to be dealing with a severe drought condition for the summer, so that hay may be very valuable. So time will tell. But I just wanted to share with you, and we'll have kind of ongoing reports here, but getting on to the middle of April, mid-state Wisconsin, we'll see what the future holds. Well, I thank you very much for your time. Make sure you subscribe and comment, please, and have a most wonderful evening.